Sentenced to 20 years, and Jeffrey Middleton was ordered to spend 17 years behind bars. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Can your roof handle extreme weather? If you have leaks or a roof that is 20 years old or more, go to localroofs.com to schedule a free roof checkup and estimate. Get a new roof for as low as $198 per month on approved credit. Restrictions apply. Go to localroofs.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A tough day for alumni at Howard University. The Howard men's basketball team lost to Wagner by 3 in Tuesday's play-in game in the NCAA tournament in Dayton, Ohio. Howard had 3 attempts to knock down a game-tying three-pointer in the final 10 seconds, but missed all 3 shots. Howard ends the season at 18-17. Wagner moves on to play North Carolina Thursday in Charlotte. North Carolina is the number 1 seed in the East Regional. The other HBCU school in the NCAA tournament is Grambling. The Tigers play Montana State today in a Midwest Regional play-in game in Dayton, 3:40 p.m. tip-off on True TV. It's a special day for Grambling and their alumni around the country. This is the first NCAA tournament game for Grambling in school history. The Clippers are back in action tonight at Portland. The Lakers are off until Friday's home game against Philadelphia. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
Reparations Now has been a rallying cry in this country and around the world for decades. But the demand has taken on new urgency with growing momentum on the issue led by the state of California, which has completed an extensive study and put forth recommendations to enact reparations. California's reparations actions have huge nationwide implications. The California Task Force was the first of its kind in the nation, and the states of New York and Colorado recently voted to take on the issue. Dozens of cities from coast to coast, including San Francisco, Boston, Los Angeles, and Detroit, have started their own reparations commissions. One of the first known reparationists was Callie House, who toured the nation advocating for reparations in the 1890s. But never in this nation's history has the movement to heal the harms of enslavement, institutionalized racism, and the system of white supremacy seemed so strong. The topic remains untouchable for most elected officials, and the call for reparations has not yet garnered widespread public support. Polling shows that most Californians agree that black fellow citizens are still suffering from the damage done by slavery and Jim Crow, but they still do not support cash reparations. The California Legislative Black Caucus has introduced a package of proposals for bills that do not include 1 penny of cash compensation, restitution, or repair. Governor Newsom and other lawmakers have distanced themselves from the concept of cash payments. While Newsom is right, cash alone will not repair our collective harm, the state's goofy legislative package ignoring monetary payments is disingenuous. California lawmakers need to step up and put a reparations bill for cash payments on the table. The issue of how it is funded, the timeline, or whether it impacts our current budget challenges can be addressed. But we must strike while the iron is hot, or the window of opportunity will pass us by. If you agree that it's time for our lawmakers to add a bill enacting cash payments to their lineup, call them at 916-319-3868 and say, if it doesn't include cash, it ain't reparations. That's 916-319-3868. Tell them Callie House sent you. From Bruce's Beach to the California Task Force, the Golden State is a trailblazer when it comes to reparations. The world is watching. We must rise to the historical moment and set a precedent for cash payments along with legislative remedies and policies addressing the systemic badges of slavery and Jim Crow. We must insist on measures significant enough to help close the racial wealth gap. California must stand for cash, and the time for reparations is now. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Dominique DePrima. We welcome your comments.
the longtime star of Y&R, joins us live in studio right now. Victor Newman is here. Of course, his real name is Eric Braeden. He's our friend and brother, a regular guest on this program. And I say regular whenever he wants to talk, whenever I reach out to him and ask him to come talk, he always shows up. Every talk show host has a stable of persons who they just love talking to. There doesn't have to be an agenda. You're not selling a product. There's no new film. There's no new record. They're just great conversationalists. That's what makes talk radio what it is. And Eric Braeden is on my short list of the 8 or 9 people who I just love talking to anytime about anything. He is what I call a citizen artist. I call him a citizen artist. He and I spoke after the re-election, I'm putting re-election in air quotes, the re-election of Vladimir Putin in Russia a few days ago. And today, Mr. Braeden has a message for Mr. Putin. The former is no stranger to war. Long before you knew him as Victor Newman on Y&R, long before he became a famous Hollywood actor, he escaped Germany during World War II. And he joins us again live in studio in this hour with his unique take on Putin, the 2024 election, and how he is doing after he went public with that cancer diagnosis. And that's where I want to start, because that's what's most important to me. You look as handsome as ever. How are you feeling, Eric Braeden?
Feeling great. I'm feeling absolutely great. And caught this stuff early and have had what is called BCG treatments. The B stands for bovine. It comes from cattle. And C and G are two French scientists called Calmette and Guérin, who in the 1930s developed an anti-thing against tuberculosis. And that, at one time or another, then was used against early bladder cancer. Mm-hmm. Has worked very well. You get an infusion of it. I have 3 more to go. And so far it works very well. There's no problem.
Yeah.
Really.
Have you, in this moment, had thoughts about your own mortality?
That's a good question.
Somebody once said we all have to do that dance with mortality at some point.
Yeah, that's a good question. But you know, I'm a defiant bastard.
Yeah.
And I look at it as a challenge, really. Mm-hmm. Fight it, you know. And the question of mortality obviously has come up in relationship to others or friends or relatives. But personally, no, not really. I just, you know, the whole question of religion is one that I have fought since I was about 14, 15 years old, and got no answers from leaders of them. I belong to the Protestant church in Germany, mm-hmm. Or at least I was baptized as such. Mm-hmm. They could give me no answers. When my father died when I was 12, I asked fundamental questions, and religion has not been able to answer that at all. I mean, zero. And I'm a great cynic when it comes to that. I rather listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson or Cox, the other astrophysicist, and look at life, or Carl Sagan. That sort of interests me enormously. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we are the only inhabited planet is fascinating. And that, of course, leads to all kinds of people speculating and hypothesizing as to, you know, where we thought of. And when you then listen to scientists, you say, well, we all share the same kind of atoms that were around after the Big Bang, apparently. And was the Big Bang really the beginning of it? We don't know that either, really, definitively. So these are all very interesting questions. And I agree with René Descartes, the French philosopher of the 18th century, who said, dubito ergo sum, I doubt, therefore I am. Or cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Okay? Otherwise, I grew up in the middle of the war, and
hold that thought.
Yep.
I see you're going to get started, and I want to hear that story. I want to hear it in full, and not have to cut you off. You're listening to Eric Braeden on Tavis Smiley.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
Hey, y'all. Mona Swain here from Target's new YouTube series, My Cart is Full, where we feature Black founders and creators highlighting their connection to our community. As an actor and content creator, I love using my voice to inspire young Black women who look like me. When it comes to feeding my shine, seeing myself reflected in Black-owned and founded products at Target brings me joy. Together, we are Black Beyond Measure. Learn more at target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Imagine with me here for a minute the most beautiful panoramic setting. Maybe it's an endless ocean, waves crashing on a beach, or a crystal clear mountain lake, peaceful and quiet. Or maybe it's just little kids playing in the park down the street. Wherever your imagination takes you, now imagine right smack in the middle of this perfect picture, a piece of litter. Just one piece right there in the middle of it all. Doesn't exactly fit, does it? In fact, even though it's just one piece, now it's all you can see. That one piece ruins everything. And that's the thing about litter. It doesn't take much to ruin everything. One thing's for sure, it simply does not belong anywhere in California. So here's the good news. If we work together, we will change it. We don't have to let litter, even just one piece, ruin your perfect picture. Not anymore, not ever again. Clean California, zero litter is the goal. Brought to you by Caltrans and CleanCA.com.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now. Right now.
What you gonna play now? Bobby? I don't know. But whatsoever I play, it's got to be funky. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, make it funky. Make it funky. Huh. Make it funky. I got to make it funky. Make it funky. Make it funky. Tell me, ain't it? Make it funky. No, it is. Make it funky. Got to do it now. Make it funky. Got to do it now. Make it funky. Got to do it now. Make it funky. Oh yes. Make it funky. 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 Make it funky.
The Godfather, James Brown. Eric Braeden is a.
Oh yes, I got
I want to hear. Eric Braeden's a music lover, and his music. Let it ride, Miles. His music tastes are as eclectic as mine. And the minute James Brown came on, for those of you who are watching, you saw him dancing in this chair. That's just how he is. What were you gonna say, Eric Braeden?
James Brown, when he sang with Pavarotti that duet. What is it called? It's a Man's World. Oh.
He and Pavarotti did it together.
James Brown came to the set.
Yeah.
A few times.
Of Y&R.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I knew little about music then. I didn't appreciate it enough.
Yeah.
Little Richard came.
Yeah.
And, Aretha Franklin was a big fan of the show.
So was B.B. King.
B.B. King was a big fan.
I was in a bus. I was on the road with B.B. King one time. And Aretha, for that matter. As a matter of fact, both. I've been on buses with both Aretha and B.B. King while they watched Y&R.
I love it. I just love it. You know, and I, to be frank with you, didn't appreciate it enough then. That duet with Pavarotti is unbelievable.
All right, Miles. That's our cue. I'm gonna continue this conversation. Find that duet with James Brown and Pavarotti. Pavarotti would invite people to Italy every year, a number of artists, to do duets with him, raising funds for his foundation. So I'm gonna have Miles find that duet of James Brown and Pavarotti. Let me know, Miles, when you have it. But for now, I'll continue the conversation. And before we had to step aside, Eric, you were telling me the story. We're going to work our way to Putin and your message to him. But the reason why you have a message for Putin is because you grew up in Germany and you escaped during World War II. And you were starting to tell us about growing up in Germany during World War II. Take it away.
I was born in 1941, and we were bombed every night at the beginning and then every day and night, as the Allies and the Brits and up in northern Germany gained more ground. So my city was destroyed 96%. They threw 500,000 bombs over where I was born. And so I saw the consequences of people being seduced by bullshit. One has to then, of course, realize, when one thinks afterwards about all of it, and it's very complex, dictators don't last. They simply don't last. Primarily people who keep on re-electing themselves over and over again, as Putin has done. Putin will meet not a very nice end, I assure you. Either he will die of natural causes soon, or it won't be pretty, because there's a growing opposition, obviously, within Russia. There's a growing awareness that he has been seducing them with nationalistic nonsense propaganda.
But you do recall, though, that the last time somebody even thought about starting an effort for insurrection, they ended up dying mysteriously in a plane crash.
Of course.
Remember that?
Of course.
That was just a few months ago.
Prigozhin.
Yeah.
Prigozhin, and now, of course, Navalny. And
Navalny's dead.
But, you know, that builds up. It all builds up. Just look historically at how well those people have lived their lives. They haven't. They have usually met a dreadful end, as Hitler did as well. Now, there's sometimes very easy comparisons made between Trump's utterances and Hitler. One has very little to do with the other. Germany was in an entirely different situation. It had lost the First World War. It suffered from the edicts of the Versailles Treaty. It suffered from the consequences of the Wall Street crash in 1929, desperately. It had a large communist party and socialist party. So Germans were afraid of all kinds of possible consequences. The Russian Revolution had occurred in 1917, only about 10, 15 years before Hitler took power. And one of the reasons he took power is because he promised the Germans that he would undo the dictates of the Versailles Treaty, and most of them agreed, etc., etc. So what they did not take seriously is all of his utterings and writings in Mein Kampf, where he presaged a lot of stuff that came later on, namely the conquest of Russia and Eastern Europe, his anti-Semitic rantings and ravings. No one took that seriously. His successes from 1933, when he took power, to 1938 were enormous, economically and in foreign policy. So people were seduced, not realizing what his real intents were. The comparison between Trump and Hitler is interesting only insofar as Trump took from Hitler's pages the idea that if you tell a lie big enough and repeat it often enough, i.e. the election of 20, the so-called stolen election, if you repeat it often enough, a lot of people will buy it.
We just discussed that in our last hour. We spent the whole hour talking about that very point.
Okay, so it's right out of the book of the Nazis, right out of the book of Hitler and Goebbels, etc. They knew that. Tell a lie often enough. Control the media. In this case, you have Fox News, who has gone along with it. I think Rupert Murdoch is one of the most dangerous men in America, and has done an enormous amount of damage. And I have visions of Rupert Murdoch being stripped naked and let loose in the outbacks of Australia, followed by Tasmanian devils, and run into an ambush by Aborigines who shoot arrows at him, and he dies a slow death, that son of a bitch. Anyway.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yes.
That's a good point for a break. We can do this because it's my show and it's our show. It's Victor Newman. It's the Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, Tavis, Smiley show that we do what we want to do. So we were talking about James Brown and Pavarotti because we played some James Brown, Make It Funky, and Eric Braeden mentions this duet that Pavarotti and James Brown did. I feel like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption. Y'all know the movie. You've seen it 1,000 times. There's a scene in the movie where he just locks the door, where the guards can't come in, the warden can't come in, and he plays this beautiful aria for all the men in the prison. They just pause for moments, and they take this moment in. Here they are in a prison. Y'all recall that scene, and he plays this beautiful aria, and it just makes it's a moment in the film. It makes a difference. And so we're gonna pause for a second and just play some James Brown and Pavarotti, a piece you may have never heard. Take it away, Miles Lowe.
This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. You see, man made the car to take us over the road. Man made the train, carry the heavy loads. Man made the electric lights to take us out of the dark. And man made the boat for the water. Like my Bible said, Noah made the ark. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing about a woman or a girl.
L'uomo rincorre il potere, ma lui non sa. E il grande limiti ad essere come si vorrà. Nel palmo stringe un'idea che non vive, che nella sua fantasia volle, se non si accorge che poi nulla più senza sé, si vive solo per sé.
In case you never heard that, there's a taste of James Brown and Pavarotti. Who would ever think of putting those two together? Well, Pavarotti did. Every year, God rest his soul, Pavarotti would invite major artists to his home city in Italy. And he would duet with some of everybody and raise money for his foundation. And one year, he invited the Godfather of Soul to Italy. And he and James Brown did their thing. And that recording sounds as good today as it did then. Now, both of these gentlemen have left us. They're both gone now. But they sound as good as ever, Eric Braeden.
Sad they're both gone. You know, when you sing like that, you have soul.
Soul.
That's as simple as it is. You have deep soul, man. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of soul there.
Wow.
How did you I know this because I know you well, obviously, after all these years. And I mentioned earlier that you are a music lover, I'm a music lover, and we both have really eclectic music taste. Talk to me about music on the soundtrack of your life.
You know, it's well, the first big impression on me was in 1953, I think, or 4. My father had just died, and we were allowed to go to Kiel, the city that was bombed so heavily, and they had a big theater there, and Louis Armstrong came.
Ooh.
That is my first big impression as far as music is concerned. I actually went to the concert.
You saw Louis Armstrong?
I was 12. I saw Louis Armstrong. Wow. When the Saints Go Marching In, my man. And you have no idea.
Find it, Miles. Find it. Louis Armstrong when the Saints Go Marching In. Go ahead.
Do you know the impression on a 12, 13-year-old growing up in these tough times in Germany? And then here comes Louis Armstrong. And I will never forget it in my life. And I tried to imitate him, his voice.
Oh, when the Saints.
I ruined my voice for a while. I will never forget the happiness that brought to us.
Yeah.
He with his handkerchief and his trumpet, and I will never, ever in my life. That's the first.
Yeah. I see.
Real impression during a very, very tough time. And
this is radio. Eric's emotional.
Yeah.
There are tears flowing. Play it, Miles. Just play it, Miles. Play it.
Marching in. I when the Saints go marching in. Yes, I want to be in that number. I when the Saints go marching in.
When we come forward, we'll continue our conversation with Eric Braeden, Victor Newman, the long-running star of Y&R. There are tears flowing in this studio. I can't imagine what it would have been like to be a kid of 12 years of age, living in a country that's being bombed in World War II, and you're just trying to survive it. Thankfully, he eventually escaped Germany during World War II, came to the States, and the rest, as they say, is history. We all know him and love him for all these decades. As Victor Newman on Y&R, Eric Braeden is in studio right now, and I'm glad about it. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Now when the Saints go marching in, when the Saints go marching in, Lord, I want to be in that number. Here comes Trummy Young and his trombone wailing.
Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Tennessee, Austin Peay State University is providing more opportunities for students of color. The university recently opened a new chapter of the National Society of Black Engineers. The goal is to get more black students involved in STEM. This week, about 35 members of the chapter are traveling to the National Society of Black Engineers annual convention in Atlanta, Georgia. There is an alert out for measles across the country. The CDC says so far this year there are 58 cases in 17 states. That already equals the number of cases reported in all of 2023. Once eradicated, the CDC is once again urging families to make sure they get their measles vaccines. Doctors say on average, one infected person infects 12 to 18 unvaccinated people. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Can your roof handle extreme weather? If you have leaks or a roof that is 20 years old or more, go to localroofs.com to schedule a free roof checkup and estimate. Get a new roof for as low as $198 per month on approved credit. Restrictions apply. Go to localroofs.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A tough day for alumni at Howard University. The Howard men's basketball team lost to Wagner by 3 in Tuesday's play-in game in the NCAA tournament in Dayton, Ohio. Howard had 3 attempts to knock down a game-tying three-pointer in the final 10 seconds, but missed all 3 shots. Howard ends the season at 18-17. Wagner moves on to play North Carolina Thursday in Charlotte. North Carolina is the number 1 seed in the East Regional. The other HBCU school in the NCAA tournament is Grambling. The Tigers play Montana State today in a Midwest Regional play-in game in Dayton, 3:40 p.m. tip-off on True TV. It's a special day for Grambling and their alumni around the country. This is the first NCAA tournament game for Grambling in school history. The Clippers are back in action tonight at Portland. The Lakers are off until Friday's home game against Philadelphia. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. We're not just a thermometer recording and broadcasting popular opinion. We aim to be a thermostat, transforming the conversation about climate justice in our community. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary hair? Visit your local SoCal FS Cut and Color Salon today and let their team of expert stylists pamper you with affordable luxury. Get a free shampoo with every cut. Book your appointment today at fantasticsams.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin Ultra Strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, yeah, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Are you wet shaving? You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops. I'm good with Gillette Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard Mama hates anyway?
Since 77. I shaved and got ingrown so bad.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturizer. So I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
The best a man can get keeps getting better with Gillette Skin Guard. Buy now at a retailer near you.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
If you're watching us, you can see Eric Braeden, Victor Newman directing the orchestra. I just love watching him. If you're seeing him right now, you see him doing his orchestral thing. He's looking like Gustavo Dudamel up in this studio right now. And I love Dudamel, the conductor of the LA Phil, now on his way to New York. We're losing him to New York City.
Really?
Dudamel's going to New York in a year or so. Anyway, let that ride, Miles. These are the sounds of Lionel Hampton. I play this because when Eric was telling that story moments ago about being a 12-year-old kid in Germany, and the place is being bombed like crazy, and Louis Armstrong comes to town, and he goes at 12 years old to see Satchmo. He sees Louis Armstrong as a 12-year-old kid. He broke up into tears describing what that meant for him. He was telling me during the break that Lionel Hampton also came. He saw Lionel Hampton during this time period, and he was making the point to me, and I'll let him make it to you, that nobody could sell America to a 12-year-old white kid getting bombed out in Germany like black artists. Like black artists. Talk about it, Eric Braeden.
It's Louis Armstrong, Lionel Hampton. It goes on and on and on. Black music and black culture was so different from anything that we grew up with. Mm-hmm. That we were attracted to it. But what is one attracted to? It's the looseness. It's cool. It's the rhythm. It's hard to explain. It's just cool, man.
I'm black. I get it.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, what you don't get is to juxtapose that with the strict upbringing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Germany, even after the war, it's strict.
Sure.
No bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So to then dance to American music, oh man, are you kidding me? Whoa. And Louis Armstrong, I mean, my voice was so sore, I almost lost it a few times trying to imitate him. And I remember the first parties, house parties we called them, when we had 14, 15, 16. And man, we danced with the girls and what a one, and that was American music.
Yeah.
It wasn't Beethoven or Mozart.
Yeah.
It was American music.
Although Beethoven's pretty good.
That's it, on a different level. On an entirely different level.
Yeah.
When we want to become spiritual and really think about the universality of the human experience, then you listen to Beethoven's Ninth.
Yeah.
And you listen to the Ode to Joy. That's just a unifying, wonderful piece of music.
There have been some great German composers.
Oh yeah,
a long list of them.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I'm thinking.
By the way, the Austrians always say, that Beethoven was born in Austria. He was not.
Yeah.
Okay. Mozart was.
Yeah.
Beethoven was born in Bonn, Germany.
Yeah, they lying.
So anyway.
Yeah. He's claiming Beethoven as he should. The world's great, to my mind, the greatest composer who ever lived. But I digress on that point. I'm looking at you tell these stories, man, and I saw the tears flow and thinking about you were thinking about your childhood and those bombs dropping and Louis Armstrong coming to town. And as we get older, or as I prefer to say, as we get more chronologically gifted, as we get more chronologically gifted, our mind takes us back to all the things we've endured.
It does indeed.
Our childhood and all those things. And I see how full you are just sitting in this studio. But as a 12-year-old, here's the beauty of this. Here's how life works, man. As a 12-year-old, you were dealing with all of that pain and suffering in Germany. I'm juxtaposing that now, Eric Braeden, to all of the joy, and I mean joy, sublime, that you have given to audiences the world over. Not just as Victor Newman, but all the other roles that you have played. I was watching you on Titanic a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
But this Victor Newman character is iconic, and I just want to ask you whether or not you ever pause to think. I'm looking at all the messages right now on social media. These people love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. They just love you. Do you ever pause to stop and think about the joy that this 12-year-old kid, a few years later, has brought to people all across this country every day?
Tavis, to be honest with you, and you and I discussed it during the break, I very often am not aware of it. I think it is dangerous to become aware of that. You need to always get back to what is real. You know, and real is learning the dialogue to do what I do every day.
It's a lot of dialogue too, isn't it?
Oh, a lot of dialogue.
Pages.
It's all the other acting jobs, nighttime and film, are a joke compared with what we do. A joke. I have done as many as 62 pages of dialogue in one day. That means
one day of taping.
1 day.
62 pages of dialogue. Good Lord.
And they said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Bring it on."
Yeah.
I'm just very competitive.
Yeah.
So, and I did it. But you cram, man. So, but on an average, about 20 pages, 15 pages of dialogue.
A day.
A day.
Yeah.
So one is so immersed in that you don't think of the consequences thereof. You don't. I really don't. I don't watch the show. I rarely do.
Yeah.
So I'm unaware unless I talk to you or go somewhere and said, "Oh my God," I said, "I'll be damned." You know. I remember an incident with Harry Belafonte in Monte Carlo.
Oh, my friend, yes.
And Harry was there to entertain. We had a celebrity tournament in Monte Carlo, which I won with Prince Albert in the 90s. And Harry was there. I've always admired him greatly. And he sat at another table. I was there with my wife and my son and his girlfriend. And Belafonte sat at another table with about 12, 14 people. He came over, he says, "Would you mind saying hello to my guests here?" I said, "Sure." Came over. They spoke French, and I said, "Bonjour, bonsoir, merci beaucoup, Allah." And he took me back to my table. He says, "Do you know who that was?" I said, "No." It was President Bourguiba of Tunisia. I said, "You're kidding me?" He says, "No." They're big fans. I said, "What?" Dead serious.
First of all, I'm just laughing. I'm laughing, and I'm grateful that in my lifetime, I've been able to call both Harry Belafonte and Eric Braeden friends of mine. I'm just humbled, and I thank God for that reality.
He was
number
a good
one.
Man.
He's a great man.
He's a good man.
And for Harry Belafonte to come to your table, to get you to come to his table, to meet the president of Tunisia, he was a fan of yours.
Can you imagine that? That's the insanity.
They're watching YNR the world over, man. They're watching you in Tunisia, man.
I was invited to Israel.
Yeah.
And I had a meeting with Shimon Peres,
yes,
who I've always admired greatly.
Likewise.
And we sat and we talked. That segues into another subject matter which is very difficult right now, the Israeli-Gaza thing. But I said to him, "Mr. President, if I, who come from a country that was responsible for the two most cataclysmic wars in man's history, First and Second World War, our nation is now the center of a European Union, of a democratic alliance, the size of which the world has never known before. Don't you think it may be possible that Israel becomes the center of a Middle Eastern Union, spanning from Syria to Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, Egypt, and becomes an economic union and the center thereof?" He said, "Come here." Took me to the window of his office. He says, "Down there," he looked at a plaza, "is where my friend Yitzhak Rabin was killed by one of those right-wing Meshuggahs, one of those settler bastards. Okay? They killed Yitzhak Rabin. Why? Because Yitzhak Rabin wanted to work out a rapprochement with the Palestinians, wanted to work out some kind of a deal. They didn't want that. They killed him. That's all he had to say. And that is really the present problem in Israel and Palestine.
It is indeed, and you couldn't have told that story any better. When we come forward, he's hanging out with Belafonte, Mr. B, with the president of Tunisia over dinner one night. He's in Israel talking to Shimon Peres in Jerusalem. And I want to also have him tell the story. We talked about Vladimir Putin earlier.
Right.
I want you to share the story of you and Gorbachev hanging out one night. We'll tell you that story. We'll let him tell you that story when we come forward. Our guest is Victor Newman, Eric Braeden on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on! What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. Visit jpmorganchase.com/racial equity and get the tools to help reach your financial goals.
Psst. Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Your floors can go from clean to dirty fast. From juice spills, whoops, to muddy paw prints, to little sticky finger marks. Good thing your Swiffer WetJet works fast too. Swiffer WetJet easily cleans everyday messes as quick as they happen. The next mess is right around the corner. So grab your Swiffer WetJet and just spray, push, all clean.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Venus for Pubic Hair and Skin is here with the only razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area, featuring a razor with the patented irritation defense bar and skincare regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Visit GilletteVenus.com to learn more about our full regimen of products.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
This is Tavis Smiley and Eric Braeden, better known as Victor Newman on YNR. I'm watching my time. It's getting tired of me. We'll close this conversation in a few minutes, not now, in a few minutes, talking about this inflection point that this country finds itself at right about now, the 2024 election. We'll get Eric Braeden's thoughts on that. But first, since we were talking about the president of Tunisia and Shimon Peres in Israel, we talked about Putin earlier in this conversation, but you have a Gorbachev connection. Tell me that story right quick.
I gave a speech for Gorbachev at the Phoenix Club in Anaheim. It's a German club, and they invited me to give a speech for him, to introduce him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in the, I think, 2000, around 2009. So it was extraordinary to meet him. And my speech essentially said that he and Ronald Reagan were the two most important men in the second half of the 20th century. Why did I say that?
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So, the fact that those two were willing to talk to each other is extraordinary. It was personal diplomacy, partly encouraged by Nancy Reagan, apparently. I found out later.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at the Phoenix Club in Anaheim, I gave this speech and talked about the fact that those two avoided an almost certain thermonuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
If it had not been for Ronald Reagan's willingness and Gorbachev's willingness to meet each other and talk to each other in Reykjavik, in Iceland, and then later on in Geneva, and initiate the SALT talks, Strategic Arms Limitation talks, we might have had a serious confrontation. So I asked Gorbachev afterwards, after I sat down after the speech, he gave me a big hug, and we talked afterwards through an interpreter who was faster than a bullet when it came to interpreting. And I said, how close were we for you to unleash the tanks onto Budapest, Prague, and East Berlin? He said, this close. He refused to give the order to the Russian marshals and generals to send those tanks.
Unlike Putin, who's done that in Ukraine.
So,
yeah.
But the point is that it really was an enormous shift, and I didn't like Ronald Reagan's domestic policies.
Sure.
But it came to foreign policy, I completely agreed with him.
I take your point. It's quite the story. He's hung out with everybody around the globe because everybody's a Y&R fan, everybody's a Victor Newman fan, everybody's an Eric Braeden fan, as are we. Our remaining moments with Eric Braeden when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers!
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I want to close. I got 4 minutes left. I want to close talking about the election, but you got to tell me. You start telling me. Tell me very quick. I got 2 minutes. Tell me the story you were starting to tell me about Clarence Williams III. We all love Clarence Williams III. Played Prince's father in Purple Rain. Was Link on the Mod Squad. Tell me the story right quick.
Clarence and I did a Broadway show.
Yeah.
In 1965, called The Great Indoors at the Eugene O'Neill Theater with Geraldine Page and Kurt Jürgens.
Yeah.
And anyway, years later, he invited me and my wife to go to Harlem.
Uh-huh.
And, we were bar hopping in Harlem.
Sure.
I met the godfather of Harlem, bald-headed guy, spats on, handshake like this. Met all kinds of people. They had seen the Rap Patrol, So, no cabs leave Harlem at 2 in the morning.
That's right.
So a very nice person picks us up, and a well-to-do black man picks us up and drives us, and suddenly lights behind us shine into the cops, pull us over. So Clarence turns to my wife. She and I were sitting in the back seat, who was an innocent California girl from a Catholic school.
Right.
She says, "Are you clean?" "Yeah, I took a shower." What do you...
Oh, that's a great story. Are you clean?
So my sweet wife, I said, "Darling, he didn't mean that." "What did he mean?"
Okay, I got 90 seconds. That story's amazing. Are you clean? I took a shower. Victor Newman, Eric Braeden hanging out with Clarence Williams III. I would love to see that photo. Okay, I got 60 seconds. Give me your quick take on the 2024 election.
The most important election in America's history, as far as I'm concerned, other than the Civil War. And we better be very careful electing someone who said, if I lose that election, blood will flow in the streets of America.
A bloodbath.
That man should be arrested right now, as we speak.
Yes.
You do not, as a political candidate in America, in a democracy, you do not warn people and say, if I lose, there'll be a bloodbath. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
This guy's nuts. He is totally insane.
On that note, we will wrap this conversation. Eric Braeden is my friend and my brother, and for those who have just started listening to this program in cities all across the country, just know that he'll be back, and there's never any reason. I mean, he always has projects and things to talk about, but I just love talking to him, and every now and then he pops in the studio. We just play some music and have a good time. He shares great stories, and that's what talk radio is about, just great
Well, the same goes to you, brother.
conversation.
You're one of the brightest guys I know, well-versed in everything, okay?
You're kind.
You're kind. A Renaissance man.
He's my man. His name is Eric Braeden, the longtime star of Y&R. Victor Newman, always welcome on this program. Just like that, 3 hours is gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until then, thanks for tuning in. Eric Braeden, we love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. We just love you. And to all the rest of y'all, thanks for tuning in, and keep the faith.
KBLA